Hello everyone, and welcome to my channel. I believe introductions are in order. My name is D-WIZZLE, and here on my channel I talk about quite a few topics. One of the big things are movies. I'm a huge movie buff. I talk about all types of films in any genre, whether it's comic book movies, whether it's dramas, whether it's indies, whether it's romantic comedies, horror. We talk about it all. So that's pretty much what my channel is. The majority of the discussion will be, but that's not the only thing I talk about though. We also talk about music. We also talk about video games. We also talk about social culture, what's going on in the world. We talk about theater, performing arts. There's just quite a few things for us to talk about. And so if you're a fan of any of those things, I think you'll have quite a good time on my channel, if I do say so myself. And today I have something very nice for you for my first video. We're going to talk about the new film from Steven Spielberg that came out. It's called Ready Player One. Ready Player One stars Ty Sheridan, Ben Mendelsohn, Olivia Cooke, Simon Pegg, T.J. Miller, and Mark Rylance. Now this is the film that's based on the book of the same name called Ready Player One. I've never read the book. I heard quite a bit about it. I heard it was a really good book, so at some point I definitely do want to read it. But yeah, so going in, I wasn't I wasn't really a huge fan of the books. I wasn't looking to, nitpick every single detail that was changed from the books. I was just able to, go in with an open mind. And see what Spielberg did with the property. I'm a huge fan of Steven Spielberg. Who isn't, right? But yeah, he is one of my biggest, influences in filmmaking. I loved quite a few of his films: Jurassic Park, E.T., Lincoln, Indiana Jones. The list goes on and on. Though recently, I haven't really been a huge fan of his films recently, whether it be Bridge of Spies, and the BFG. I was kind of let down by the BFG. It wasn't horrible, but it just wasn't up to par to what what Spielberg normally gives. And also, this is the first time he worked with Disney, so I was thinking Spielberg and Disney. That's like a perfect combination there, right? But yeah, it just turned out to be okay, nothing more. So I'm starting to get sour on him. I didn't see The Post. I don't know if he directed that. I'm pretty sure he did. But yeah, I didn't see that. So I was just kind of iffy on him. But I'll be honest, when I saw the trailer for Ready Player One, it really interested me. This is something that Spielberg hasn't really tackled in quite a long time. When it comes to science fiction films, I think the last one he made was... I know some people are going to say Crystal Skull because it had an alien in it, but I don't consider that to be like a sci-fi film. But I think the last one really was Jurassic Park or Artificial Intelligence. I'm not sure, but yeah, he hasn't really tackled that type of science fiction before, virtual reality and stuff like that. So that's something I think would be good for Spielberg to give him his edge back. So going into this, like I said, with an open mind, because like I said, I never read the book, and I was, hoping that Spielberg could come back to prominence with this one. And I believe he did. This movie, I had a blast with. It's just such a fun time. I haven't had this much fun at a movie in a long time. I mean, other than Black Panther that came out recently, which we'll talk about soon, leading up to Infinity War, but yeah, just this sense of fun. This movie's fun, and it's such a nostalgia trip. Not in a bad way either, where they shoehorn in nostalgia just because. I felt like the nostalgia that they used for this film was very natural and it was earned. And I think this is the best property to use nostalgia for a movie like this, because it is pretty much about video games and other, virtual reality characters and stuff like that. So I feel like this film utilized that the most in the best way possible. I thought the main lead, Ty Sheridan, I thought he was really good. He was a really good main character, main protagonist. So I believe this movie takes place in a dystopian future. I wouldn't say it's post-apocalyptic, but I'd say the dystopian future 2044, where Ty Sheridan is playing this teenager who lives with his aunt and an abusive boyfriend. So it's kind of pretty much that storyline of him not having a great life at home with his aunt and dealing with this douche of a boyfriend that doesn't give a crap about him. So we've seen that type of stuff before, but the way that he did it in the movie, I thought was very charming, very well done. Ty Sheridan was just really good. I bought into his character very quickly. He was very likable. He was that awkward, awkward teenager that didn't have the best social skills, but you can tell he's a very clever kid. Overall, the dystopian world I thought was interesting, but I felt the movie didn't go into it enough, because we spent so much time in the Oasis, which I'll get to in a second. But yeah, just the overall world, I want to know more about it, because especially in a world where the Oasis pretty much runs the planet, I just want to know a little bit more about how it got to the place that it was, and why the Oasis becomes so big. But yeah, that's just one of my things about it. But I thought it was an interesting world I wanted to, know more about. Let's talk about the Oasis, because everyone wants to, waiting for you to talk about it. The Oasis, it's amazing. The overall world of the Oasis is beautiful. Just so much detail put into it. I don't know how it is in the books, but it just from what Spielberg did with it here, I thought was very interesting. It's gritty, it's very and colorful at the same time. It's like they mixed those two and made it just like a very visually appealing movie. It's just amazing, and there's so many references from video games, movies, and all that stuff that's in this film that I couldn't even catch all of them in one viewing. I have to watch it again to get all of them. But from the first viewing I saw so many. Of course, there was King Kong, there's the Iron Giant, there's Freddy Krueger, there's Overwatch, there's Akira, Back to the Future, Halo, Godzilla, just so many references. It's just, I was amazed with how much was in here. And of course, we know there's certain things with properties that other studios own that not every movie's able to get a hold of. But this movie, I don't know how Spielberg did it. Maybe because it's Spielberg, he's the man. But just like I just was surprised with how much Easter eggs and references were in here. The villain or antagonist, I'm gonna call it a villain because he acted like a villain. Let me pull his name up real quick because I had it. Ben Mendelsohn. For those of you who don't know, he was the general that was in Rogue One. He was the villain in that, and pretty much he plays the same character. There's not really a difference to him. He's still that over-the-top villain that you've known. You don't really have a lot of sympathy for him because of how kind of mustache-one he is, but I thought he was entertaining for the film, and he served a purpose. But like I said, he's interchangeable with his character in Rogue One. So if you liked him in Rogue One, I'm pretty sure you'll like him here. Simon Pegg and Mark Rylance was really good too, and they're the ones who created the Oasis. Or mainly was Mark Rylance, and Simon Pegg was kind of helping with the business type aspect stuff. But I thought they were both really good. It was really strange to hear Simon Pegg in an American accent, because he does use an American accent in this movie, and it actually sounded very seamless. It's just kind of jarring because he always uses his regular British accent. So it was just, I thought that was on point. Mark Rylance was good. He was cool, but he just didn't have a lot to do. He was pretty much there to just set up the conflict and everything. So for that, I thought he was done pretty well. Ty Sheridan's friend, who's played by Lena Waithe, I thought it was really good. At first, it was a really interesting twist that they did. When they actually reveal who the the person behind the avatar is, because she plays the best friend of Ty, and pretty much you only see her avatar for most of the time. He's like this giant orc thing. He's best friends with him in the Oasis. So, it was a cool twist to see what he actually looked like, and turned out to be a she. And I thought it was a pretty good fit with that. So, and I thought she was really good too. And all the other kids that ended up helping them along the way, I thought they were cool to watch. But once again, I felt like they needed a little bit more time to develop them, because they're pretty much there and just it's full speed ahead, going on with the mission and stuff like that. So I wish I had more time with that. And then the love interest, Olivia Cooke, I thought was really good. Um, she's probably the second, if not the best character in the entire movie, because there are times where she outshines Ty, which I think was intentional. But I thought she was really good. I haven't really seen her in anything else. I have to look it up, but I see a lot of great things for her and Ty in the future, because they were that good for me. Um, was kind of iffy about it for me though, with the whole love aspect. I felt that was a little bit forced. Um, it and the movie acknowledges that it feels forced, so I'm not as bothered about it. But I still felt it was a bit rushed, because spoilers, they do end up together. It's like, if you couldn't predict it, like you will. It's like it's pretty obvious. But I just felt like they could have spent more time with it. But that's really the gist of my issues with the film overall. I can't really think of anything else other than, oh well, another thing actually, the movie I felt was a bit too long. This movie runs at 2 hours and 20 minutes, 2 hours 25 minutes, and I felt like they could have cut like 10, 15 minutes from this movie. There were just things that they were trying to explain with the entire plot that I felt they could have wrapped up quicker. I just felt like it was drawn out a little too long. But it didn't take away from the overall climax of the film, which I thought was very entertaining. But I just felt when it came to the exposition and setting up for that, I felt they could have wrapped it up better. So, other than that, that are my main issues. The romance, it's a little bit too long, and I want to know more about the real world. But those are my main issues with it. Other than that, this is a fun film. I can't wait to see it again. To those of you who are fans of the books, comment below and let me know what significant changes you noticed. Do you like the changes that they did from the movie? Did you not like them? How do you feel this stacks up with the book? Because like I said, I haven't read it, and I know there's some people who read the book who aren't huge fans of this movie, and I guess on that aspect I get it. But for me, who haven't read the book at all, and accepting this film as it is, and like I said, I was skeptical of Spielberg going into this, but I was hoping this would help him bring him back. But for me, I felt it worked. It worked quite a bit. There are definitely some vintage Spielberg moments that I enjoyed a lot. This did feel like old school Spielberg, and that's mainly what I wanted from the movie. Is for Spielberg to just have his vintage style, his nostalgia. He's able to mix all that together really well, and I thought in this movie he did. So overall, I give Ready Player One an A minus. Very, very good film. I recommend you guys go see it if you haven't already. For those of you who are a fan of the books, I would still say give it a shot. Because regardless, I'm sure there's stuff in the book that they probably did better in the film, but for the movie as it is, I think it's very well done film. So please go out and see it. Yeah. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please like the video, leave a comment down below. You can go ahead and subscribe to my channel if you want to get notified with other videos I'm going to do, and there will be more, I promise. This next month in April is going to be Marvel month because Infinity War is coming out late April, so I'm going to do podcasts for all my Marvel phases. Going to be a podcast for phase 1 and then phase 2 and then phase 3, which we might split into 2 parts because there's so many films. But yeah, look forward to that, and I'm going to have other films put up on the channel. Probably will do a video on Pacific Rim Uprising, Tomb Raider, Made Me Love Simon, so look out for those. Once again, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Talk to you later. Bye.